G'day folks. Well, today we have a APAC Sundowner S13 to scrap. Just a condensing unit, and there's no indoor unit with it. And I sort of run out of ideas of what to use this for. It requires a good 3-phase power supply, and I just don't have it here, nor the money to get it connected. So I've got plenty of good single-phase units like that one there. Yeah, let's pull this thing to bits. First up, we'll give the fan a test run, see if that still works. Not that I'm going to be keeping it, it's really not much use. But anyway, it's a reverse cycle unit, a heat pump. It's a reversing valve. I've done quite a few videos on reverse cycle or heat pump systems, but yeah, this is reversing valve. This bit here is a little bit different. It's got a solenoid valve going back to this side here, the check valve, and that's coming off the discharge of the compressor, so it's an interesting way of doing it. So refrigeration discharge filter by Refrigeration Research Incorporated. Yeah, it's a little bit different to some of the other ones I've seen, mainly because of that, but overall, well, yeah, the solenoid valve's nice. That might make for a nice little air gun valve. What voltage is it? I'm guessing it'd be 24. That's not 240 volt cable anyway, that's 24 volt control. Yeah, it is 24 volts. Definitely keep that one intact, that'll make a nice little air gun valve. Anyway, I've got a very old filter dryer. It's made by Mueller Brass Company, Port Huron, Michigan, for R12, R22, R502. Yeah, liquid line, I think. Yeah, that's liquid line going out. Heat pump only would go through this way. I don't know why it's got a check valve like that. Well, then again, that's probably what this bypass is for. This bypasses in the event that you want to run it as a cooling unit. Yeah, interesting. Coil's nice and thick. Good amount of dollars there, scrap value. Same with all this copper. I mean, I might keep some of the bends and things, but really I don't do that much anymore. So I think the safest thing to do would be just to cut it all the way through, cut all this stuff up and just chuck it in the scrap bin. I don't have room, I've got a whole pile of spare copper pipes. Anyway, the compressor's a V-twin Manurop compressor made in France. They're now owned by Danfoss, but this is an original Manurop. No idea if the head gasket's on it alright. I know they have a habit of blowing head gaskets, but we'll find out. I'm going to cut it around the weld and pop it open. Try and run it on the VFD if it's still alright. Electrically it tests alright, but mechanically I don't know, and that's sort of one of the reasons why I don't want to risk trying to use this thing. It could just be that well used and tired that it just won't do it. And yeah, it's not worth the risk, so it's a bit easier just to scrap it and get on with things. And keep some of the service port caps. It's got a few on here. There's one up there too. Bit of oil. Yeah, it looks like that's been leaking. It's got oil on it. It wouldn't surprise me if this thing ran low on refrigerant. Anyway, let's test the fan out. Very effective. Multi-speed motor too. I'm wired up to high speed, which is brown, but there's two other speeds. That's what those two are. It's a fan contactor. Yeah. Defrost board, control board. Thankfully it's all screwed together, it's nice and easy. Just gotta take the fan nuts off, give it a whack so the fan drops down, and away we can go. Yay! It's still got a screw in it. Decent coil. It's going to weigh a bit. It's all cable tied. And started unscrewing some of the controls. I'll get all that out of there before it gets wrecked. Decent fan, but completely useless. Not, well, I suppose it depends who's talking. It's completely useless to me. Oh, it's a fair bit of it out of the way. Unfortunately, it's raining again. Wonderful. And all the electrics. So that can come off. And yeah, when it dries up, I'll get the 9-inch grinder out and start cutting. Something about crankcase heater wires ending up down here isn't quite right. There's the hole where it's supposed to be. Why is it underneath? It's like a bodgy job. Down there somewhere. They've actually stuffed it underneath the compressor. It probably isn't even the right size. Why is the crankcase heater stuffed under the compressor? Oh, there it is. It's not even in there. That's not going to help anything. Who knows if it even works. It's supposed to be in there and sealed in there. But no, it's stuffed underneath it down there. Oh well. That's interesting. Got the rest of the thing apart. It's got to cut all this stuff up. Cut that out. Cut the bolts off the compressor and open that up. And yeah. Oops, there's oil. Damn it. That's the only thing with the refrigeration gear. You usually find oil trapped in various places. Like the discharge muffler was full of it. Completely full. Wasn't particularly nice. Well, there's a fair lump of coil scrap there. Not light. And of course cut the ends off. Unless these metal plates here are aluminum, it's worth cutting them off because you get a lower price per kilo or per pound if you leave the steel ends on them. So you're better off with clean copper and alloy radiators, coils, whatever you like to call them. And these ends here, you can, if you've got the time, you can go through it. Pick the copper ends off and throw them in your copper bin. Like that. Of course, it all depends on how close you cut it. Like, that's ideal. Leaving one layer of thin makes it a little bit harder to get the ends off, but if you leave several layers, it's really hard to get the ends off, and you got to skim it again. But yeah, once you get the knack for it, it's very easy to clean these coils. And when I say clean, I mean cleaning steel from copper alloy. I don't mean cleaning as in getting rid of dirt. When you're scrapping it, it doesn't matter how clean, dirty it is. It's just a matter of how much ferrous metal or other crap there is on it. But yeah, it can all go in the copper bin. I've got to strip this down still, but the rest of that's domestic or refinery grade copper. Tiny bit of brass and plastic's okay, but no more than that. Like, that's alright, and a little bit of plastic. Okay, well that's that one open. It should run pretty well. It's not stuck. It's very well used. The oil's a nice little colour, nice amber. But yeah, it should work again. I'm running off the VFD. It's burning off the oil in the bottom half of another compressor. I just chopped up an old Kirby compressor. This one here, well, I might leave the oil in for now, but I really want to remove the whole assembly and mount it on the table, independent of this casing. So yeah, I'll dump the oil somewhere, probably in that, and get rid of it. It's only mineral oil, no harm done. Nice steel shell, I'll give it that much. Heavy duty. As you can see, I didn't cut all the way through, I just cut just below the weld and then pop the top.